cars.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and our people I know have a better time. I can tell you that.
We'll get the headset on Goshi. He can tell us the story. He knows where the bodies are buried there in the end zone.
But no, it was a way, they sold out all of their suites and they sold out all their space and they still had demand. And so they were creative in trying to find ways to do that. Obviously, we have waiting lists for our end zone and we need to find ways to be able to accommodate some of that additional demand. And so we just work in the reverse in terms of trying to find some new ways to be able to provide that type of an experience for our fans. And so anytime we travel somewhere, went to KU and looked at what they had in their, in their areas and those types of things, we just always have to be looking at that, and it's okay to steal ideas from other people.
Yeah. All right. Can you believe baseball season and softball season literally starts next month?
Yeah, it's we've been fortunate, I think, with weather so far. Once they've started practicing, they've been able to get out on the turf and volleyball on the football field and be able to, or softball on the football field to be able to get some work in. But yeah, it's right around the corner, and this is where, again, one of those times where it gets really busy when you've got your winter sports still going on and your spring sports kick in. And it just gets to be a really busy time, but it's a time for a lot of success.
Now, one of the big stories over the last couple of weeks was the announcement that Prospect League Baseball is coming to Cape Girardeau, and Kappahaw Field was one of the main reasons. The venue itself was one of the attractive features for the Prospect League wanting to come to Cape Girardeau. What kind of discussions has the university been involved with, and should this affect Southeast at all? Because I know they're going to be charging admission for the Prospect League games. I don't know how they're going to take care of all of that, but the Hill is a big feature coming to watch the Red Hawks play baseball in the springtime. Will there be any trickle over? Will it affect Red Hawk baseball or not at all?
It's really too early to tell from that standpoint. We've been involved in those conversations, at least to some extent, really from the beginning in terms of, thankfully the city wanting to make sure that it's something that we would be comfortable with should it come to fruition. And I see a lot of benefits to us from, a game day environment standpoint if we're able to continue to make improvements to Kappahaw. Now, I think with that, we will have to kind of wait and see what those plans look like and evaluate, whether it makes sense for us to change the way that we do things in terms of, open seating and no admission and those types of things. But we certainly don't want to do anything that's going to impact the atmosphere that we have, from fan turnout and those kinds of things. But there may be some revenue opportunities for us there and of course, enhanced amenities. If we look at different seating areas in the outfield or those kinds of things, there may be some things that actually provide enough value that fans want to take advantage of those things. And so we'll know a lot more, I think, over the next several months as some of those plans start to take shape, because the lion's share of that has to be done by the summer of 19, and that doesn't leave us a whole lot of time.
Now, you've got the end zone seating, and that is that's a revenue opportunity in football. There has been talk of a party deck potentially, maybe over the right field wall, right field corner area at Kappahaw. Is that a potential to come to fruition and a revenue opportunity maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I think I started that rumor, actually. But it's something that –
just wanted to see if it was still a rumor.
Yeah, it's something that still I have continued to talk about, that I'd like to see us explore. And I think that could fit in very nicely with the way that our fans are accustomed to watching games, but get them a little bit closer to the action, to where maybe they – can impact the game a little bit more than what they can from the Hill. And so those types of things, if we can find a way that it makes sense, I think we need to move in those directions.
Brady Barkey, the athletics director at Southeast Missouri State. Big homestand coming up for the Red Hawks, obviously Murray State on Thursday, UT Martin on Saturday, and an opportunity for fans to come out, get a look at these two basketball teams, because the Red Hawk women, they're right in the mix. I mean, they were really close the other night. That may have vaulted them up to fourth place in the OVC. I think they're in sixth place. Top 8 make the tournament. And, boy, they've run into some bad luck. I would challenge some other Division I programs to lose their leading scorer for 3 consecutive years to injury. I mean, it was Olivia Hackman the last 2 years. Carrie Shepard, the Mizzou transfer, she was likely going to lead them in scoring this year. Goes down with a knee injury right before the season starts. Rika Patterson has dodged some minefields. She's done a heck of a job, hasn't she?
Yeah, she really has, and you know, not just on the court, but also just in the community, and really bringing excitement to women's basketball, and it's developing its own fan base, which is great. And then you know, if we can get those people healthy, I think even next year you look at, you know, getting a healthy Carrie Shepard, and then the core that is returning with, you know, young players like Ticia, but then also, you know, Adriana and those coming back. I think even next year looks brighter, and you know, the same as with our men's program. And so I think if people haven't had a chance to get out to the Show Me Center to watch, I'm not sure what they're waiting for, because this week's a really good opportunity with Murray and Austin Peay.
Well, we know the men are not going to the OVC tournament in Evansville. There's a really good chance the women are going to be there. Now, that's a one-year deal in Evansville. I mean, the tournament had been in Nashville for years and years and years. What do the athletic directors know about the future of the tournament? Do you see it potentially extending in Evansville? Is there word that maybe it's going to migrate back to Nashville? Where are the discussions right now, as far as you know?
I think right now they really want to evaluate how that tournament is run in Evansville, and so it's a decision that's not going to be made until after that tournament takes place, and an opportunity to kind of see how it shakes out, not just, you know, from a dollars and cents standpoint, but making sure that the student athlete experience is what we want it, and that the fans have an enjoyable experience there too. And so it's something that they'll have to take into consideration afterwards and see. I know Nashville is still certainly very interested in being able to get it back. But so far, Evansville has done a really good job of trying to welcome the OVC. And so I think it's going to be a much more fan-friendly environment than what we've seen in Nashville. But we'll see if we can draw the attendance.
Well, the men's basketball team has gone to Evansville 2 of the last 3 years and played at the Ford Center. Have you seen it? Did you go on either of those trips? Very nice venue, really is. I mean, in terms of just venue, it's better than Municipal Auditorium in Nashville.
Oh, by and far, it's a superior venue from you know, video boards and ribbon boards and suites and all of those types of things, proper locker room facilities and all the back of the house stuff. It's a great venue.
Yeah.
The question is, what is the city of Evansville going to do in terms of you know, promoting OVC basketball there? And, you know, are the fans that weren't going to Nashville either because of the pricing of hotels or just because of the venue or the distance, are they going to turn out and support it? And so, you know, we need to find ways to grow that tournament, because it needs to be a marquee event. And it's unfortunate that so many times we play in front of better crowds at home or in better venues in league play than what we were playing in Nashville. And so if we can find the right balance, I think we can continue to grow that tournament.
All right. Sorry to pull you away for your meeting there. It looks like they're really it looks like they've made some headway with you up here. It looks like they've really gone forward down there. So I know you still got some work to do. Thanks for squeezing us in. We appreciate it.
No, thank you. Anytime.
All right. Brady Barkey, the athletics director at Southeast Missouri State University. We're going to talk it over with the Red Hawks head coach, Rick Ray. We'll talk Red Hawk basketball. Big Bad Murray State coming to town on Thursday. So make sure you get your tickets, get your popcorn for the Red Hawks and the Racers. Coach Ray going to join us at Wings Etc. in Jackson after this timeout on SEMO ESPN.
Better food and drink values all week long. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. We're so much more than wings. Enjoy wraps, salads, subs, seafoods, quesadillas, amazing appetizers, and awesome daily lunch food and drink specials. And now, when you can't eat here, order online for pickup at togo.wingsetc.com. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. Good food, great times, and online ordering at togo.wingsetc.com.
Hear that squeaking noise? Annoying, isn't it? If your wiper blades sound like this, they probably aren't wiped.
Check it out, man. Check it out now. Free on the App Store or Google Play and download today. Listen live to ESPN 92.9 FM or ESPN 1220 AM 24/7. In crystal clear audio. Watch the Red Hawks Coaches Show live video webcast. Enter our contest. Get local weather and live radar. See what others are saying on our Facebook and Twitter feeds. Everybody's downloading the free SEMO ESPN app. The real question, are you? Find it on the App Store or Google Play today.
End of message.
This is Mike Golick for the best in local sports talk and play-by-play. It's SEMO ESPN.
It is the Red Hawks Coaches Show live from Wings Etc. in Cape Girardeau, or in Jackson. We'll be in the Cape Girardeau location next week for the next 2 weeks. So we are in Jackson today, and we invite you to come on out and enjoy lunch with us. We'd love to have you join us on Mondays. Their wings are just 59 cents. So keep that in mind, 59-cent wings at Wings Etc. on Mondays. They also have their food and drink specials on Mondays as well, and an opportunity for you to check out their menu, which is a lot more than just their award-winning wings. It includes their freshly made burgers. If you like wraps, they have terrific wraps here at Wings Etc., along with subs, quesadillas. They have entree salads, smoked ribs. Their appetizer lineup includes their ultimate nachos and their deep-fried pickle spears. And, of course, you'll notice that the televisions are all tuned in high definition to the best sports programming. You want to watch the Blues hockey game tomorrow night, you can do it right here at Wings in high definition. And we're going to be having our big game party here at Wings Etc. on Sunday for the big game, Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles. And, of course, the owner of Wings Etc., Joe Hobbs, the #1 Patriots fan, and he is decked out in the Pats regalia. Coach Rick Ray is here. Boy, you know we're getting close to Super Bowl time when we get just every week that we come in here. He's got the hat on, he's got the sweatshirt on. I'm not even going to ask him if he's got the boxers going on, but there's high probability that probably that's the way it is too.
Well, I tell you what, he is a true Pats fan. There's no question about that. But I think you're right. As the season goes along, there's more regalia as it goes on. So he keeps adding things. So one week it might be a hat. The next week it's a hat and a shirt. Then it's like pants. And now he's got the gloves in honor of Tom Brady and the thumb and the stitches there.
Well, he couldn't wait to pull the gloves out and wave them. I mean, he went to each hand and was waving the gloves. He's waving it again. He's doing it again. And speaking of gear, as a head coach, that is something. That's one of the perks of the job. I mean, every place that you've gone, I'm sure your wardrobe still includes stuff from when you were a Boilermaker and when you were at Clemson or Mississippi State, and now you got a bunch of Red Hawk gear. Gear goes with the job, right?
Yeah, I don't have any of my stuff anymore. Every place that I move on to, I eventually give it away to family and friends and some of the players that have graduated. So, and then there's plenty of guys that want that gear as well too. But any place that I've ever been, I've always given it away. But that's part of it. Obviously, you're representing your university when you go out recruiting. Then obviously your travel gear and things like that, so it becomes a part of it. I tell you, it was quite a shock to my system, though, when I got to Mississippi State because all the places I had been before had been Nike. So I was Indiana State was Nike, Northern Illinois was Nike, Purdue was Nike, Clemson was Nike. Then
were they Adidas?
Then I got to Mississippi State, they were Adidas. And so, like, I had never been in anything but Nike at that point in time, so I had to come through. It was like a shock to my system to be in the three-stripe there. So,
well, welcome back to Nike. You're at SEMO. You're back in the Nike family,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. So I've always been partial to Nike in that regard.
All right. The Murray State Racers are coming in Thursday. We'll talk much more about the Racers, but you heard from the athletics director, Brady Barkey. It's going to be Greek night. They're going to be honoring all of the student-athletes at Southeast with grade point averages of 3.0 or higher. I think there are going to be a bunch of T-shirts that are going to be given out. So they're really trying to do this thing up right with the Red Hawks and Murray State. My own personal thought, I wish the OVC would get with the program and get Murray back in here on Saturdays like it used to be. When you got rivalries like that, it should be a Saturday game. That's just my opinion. But it is going to be potentially one of the biggest crowds of the year Thursday night. Yeah,
and I'll tell you what, we'll need that. The fans, especially when the students are there, that's where your energy comes from. I think if you go around, you flip the channels of any college basketball venue, you'll see the student section there. And it's that student section that really breathes a lot of life into the program. And then our guys feed off that energy as well. Now, we've got to do our part as a staff and also obviously as a team and go out and provide our own energy irregardless of the fans. But it always helps when you come out there and you see that sort of environment. It really inspires our guys.
All right, you're coming off the game at Jacksonville State. That was the very end of a long four-game road trip for you. It's 78-60, the final score, Jacksonville State. Is it fair to say they're the best defensive team you played so far this year, and is it also fair to say that maybe they're the most physical team that you've played so far this year?
Yeah, I think anytime you go and play Jacksonville State and Ray Harper, that's what he's known for is getting a team that's a physical team, that's an athletic team. He does a really good job with concepts. They're always in the right place defensively. I think Tennessee State is really similar to that. I just think Jacksonville State's probably a little bit better in regards to their physicality. Anytime you drive into the paint, there's going to be contact. It's a constant contact situation. We got to be smart about, like, kicking the ball out. But they're really well set up. They got some offensive talent there as well. And some of the things they try to do on the offensive end. But, to me, the bugaboo for us these past four games, and, anytime you go on the road, you want to try to get a split. We got our split by winning the first two games of this four-game road trip. So you're a little down because you didn't get that split against Tennessee Tech and Jacksonville State.
Because once you get the split, you've at least got the split. You get greedy, right?
Right. And so what you try to do if you want to have any sort of chance to be a championship team or finish in the upper echelon of a league, you've got to win your home games and get splits on the road. But our rebounding has really been a concern for us these past four games, and we were really like in the top three in defensive rebounding percentage starting off in early conference play, and it's really gone downhill from that point in time. So I think we're doing some really good things on the defensive end as far as like initially, but we're not finishing by getting that defensive rebound. And if you look at our percentages, if we would get a defensive rebound, our percentages as far as like what we're doing with our field goal percentage defense would really go down. And so that's something that we've really got to concentrate on and kind of finish that.
So in other words, what you're saying is your field goal percent defense, for those who are watching a basketball game, you're saying, okay, great, good job getting the defensive stop. You got the missed shot that you wanted. the possession isn't over, they got the offensive rebound. So there are a lot of times where you do a good job of getting the missed shot, just not ending the possession.
Yeah, and I think if like in the first half against Tennessee Tech, I believe they shot 37% from the field against us, and we went back and we tabulated. If we'd have just got half of some of those offensive rebounds, they would have shot 26% from the field in the first half. So those are the things that are really hurting us. We've been out-rebounded by a wide margin these past couple of games, and that's something that's not really come accustomed to it. I know we had a really bad rebounding night, excuse me, when we were at Austin Peay, but these past two games we're giving up way too many offensive rebounds. And against Jacksonville State, between the offensive rebounds and the points off of turnovers, which we never turn the ball over. We had 17 turnovers against Jacksonville State. We've been averaging somewhere around 11 turnovers per game. So if you add up the points that they got off our offensive rebounds and you add up the points between that and the points off turnovers, it was 35 points. And so if you could just cut that in half, you know, that's your ball game right there. So we really do a good job of taking care of the basketball. We didn't do that against Jacksonville State, and we just got to find a way to keep people off the glass.
Did you identify something? Because I was watching, you know, where the turnovers took place against Jacksonville State, and we kept talking about it at the time on the air. I mean, you know, you're second best in the league at not turning the ball over. This has not been an issue. I mean, you've had other things that you needed to worry about. Turnovers have never been a glaring issue for you. Did you identify some things? Did you say, boy, we just had a tough night, or was Jacksonville that good that they were forcing these turnovers?
No, I thought they were unforced turnovers, and that's the thing that really bothers you. You know, some people press. Some people, like Austin Peay, deny passing lanes, and so it's hard to get catches. I just thought against Jacksonville State, we turned the ball over. The one thing that we did stat, though, against Tennessee Tech, I just thought that we were really quick with our shot selection. And we went back and we statted it. On average, we averaged less than 2 passes per possession. It was actually 1.77 passes per possession.
Where are you at normally?
We're usually way above that. We're usually around now. We don't count layups. Obviously, if you can kick the ball ahead or any sort of a transition situation and you get a layup, we don't chart that.
Sure.
But like in a half-court situation, we're usually passing the ball somewhere around 4 times, you know, per possession. We're really one of the better teams as far as swinging that ball from side to side. And the other thing that happened was, too, we took a shot with the shot clock at 19 seconds. You know, on average. And so what that means is we're making the opposing team only play 11 seconds of defense. And so, yeah, I asked our team, like, wouldn't you guys love to just play 11 seconds of defense every possession? And that's what we were doing to the other team. So I just thought against Tennessee Tech, we were really close. I mean, we shot the ball way too early, and we didn't move the basketball around. So those are the two things that we need to improve on the offensive end to give ourselves to be good defensively. So we need to make them play defense. We obviously need to take care of the basketball.
Boy, and if you chart how long it takes to get the ball from out of bounds to midcourt, you're making them play even less defense in the half-court setting, right?
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, if you say, I think Jonathan Dalton does a really good job, and then Donnie, when he comes in, kicking the ball ahead, and then also advancing the basketball with the dribble. So those guys, we don't walk the ball up the court. I hate that. I don't want us to walk the ball up the court. I want us to get it up and put the defense on their heels right away. But if you can say just on average, we're probably spending 3 to 5 seconds in the backcourt. So that means in the front court, you know, we're only playing about 5 to 6 seconds of basketball in the half court, and that's not just good basketball unless we're getting uncontested layups or uncontested threes.
So with Jacksonville State, they were very good from the free throw line in the game, 15 of 19. You get to the free throw line 23 times. And in the last 2 games, like we talk about, turnovers have never really been a problem for this team. Free throw shooting really hadn't been an issue. You've been a good free throw shooting team. Last couple of games, it just seems like the free throw shooting has kind of been a snake bite for you as well.
Yeah, and it's something that unfortunately ends up being contagious. You see one guy struggle from the free throw line, and then it rubs off on somebody else. And to me, that just all boils down to toughness. And that's the thing I'm really disappointed with our team at this point in time is getting that defensive rebound, getting that loose ball, stepping up to the free throw line and knocking them down. That's all about like toughness, whether it be physical toughness or mental toughness. And that's something that we've got to improve on because I don't think that we have a soft team. I don't think that we have a team that's not mentally tough. I don't think we're just locked in right now. And what happens is when things start going bad, you know, do we have the toughness to overcome some of those things or do we get downtrodden? And that's something that we really got to persevere through.
We're going to talk it over with Daniel Simmons, by the way, coming up in our final segment, one of the Red Hawks seniors. And he may have the most unique jump shot in all of college basketball. Coach, you've been around the game for quite a while. Is it a fair statement to say maybe at least top 5 in terms of unique jump shots in all of college basketball? Is that an overstatement?
Well, Eric, you're being nice here because Daniel's here by saying the word unique. So I've heard you use another U word in the past, and that was ugly.
It's ugly if you compare it to maybe a guy like Milos, who is real pretty looking jump shot.
Yeah, but I tell you what, it goes in. You know, to me, that's so you can say that Milos' shot is prettier than his, but it's not prettier if it's not going in.
It's the
so
truth.
like I always look at the percentages, and so it definitely is a unique jump shot. And sometimes my son Deacon, he emulates that shot when we're playing around in the basement. I said, don't do that. Don't emulate that shot. But you know, the thing that I think when it's all said and done, there's 2 things that end up making a difference in a person's shot. One is like going and repping it out. If you're not working on your shot, I don't care how it is, it doesn't matter. You've got to go in the gym and put time in on your individual shot. And the other thing is having confidence. And that's something that Daniel obviously has confidence in his shot. And then he goes and he reps it out. Our assistant coach, Adam Gordon, grabs him a lot, and he grabs Adam, and they go in and they work on their shot, you know, either before practice or after practice. And to me, as long as you're working on your shot and you have confidence in it, those are the 2 things that end up mattering because you can change a couple things minute about a person's shot once they gets into a college basketball program, especially for a junior college guy that spent 2 years already and only has 2 years of college basketball left. There's not a lot that you can change at that point in time. So you got to be careful about trying to change a person's shot. What you need to do is get them to come in and shoot and work on that shot and get confidence in it.
Honestly, now, you're on the lie detector here, okay? If I told you that 10 games into the conference season, that Daniel Simmons would be the number 1 3-point shooter in all of the Ohio Valley Conference, which is where he is today, the number 1 3-point shooter in the league, would you have thought that that was something that we were going to be talking about through 10 conference games?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But, you know, it's something that we talk about all the time is the ability to shoot the 3-point shot. You know, we don't want to recruit perimeter guys that can't make a shot. It's like playing 4-on-5 at that point in time. And, you know, even a guy like Jonathan Dalton, you know, we always encourage him, hey, shoot that shot, you know, if you're open. So, you know, what we talk about in our offense is we want layups first. We want paint touches for fouls. And third, we want uncontested 3-point shots. And so you've got to be able to knock down that shot. And so we try to give our guys confidence to take those shots and make those shots. And it's something that we work on a lot.
All right, with the Jacksonville State game, Denzel Mahoney, boy, he got off to a hot start in that game, Coach. It looked like they were backing off on him. And I don't know what their game plan was. Let's just not send him to the free throw line, guys. So I don't know if they were just backing off on him. But, man, he was jumping up and sticking threes early in that game on Saturday. Yeah,
he did a really good job of knocking down shots, and he took what the defense gave him. That's one thing that I think Denzel is really progressed at. I thought his freshman year sometimes he would get frustrated and start to force the issue at times. But I think he's really matured in what he's given the defense, taking what the defense gives him. A prime example is Eastern Illinois. You know, I didn't think he forced anything. I think he ended up taking like 4 shots maybe. So he did a great job on that. So I thought Jacksonville State was pressing off of him a little bit, and he took that open shot, which obviously he can make.
Back to Daniel Simmons, Coach. Tell us a little bit about the recruiting process with him, because he was at East Mississippi Community College. I know that's Last Chance U. Anybody that has seen that, I think, is that a Netflix or an HBO?
Netflix.
Netflix. So anybody that's watched Last Chance U knows that's the junior college that Daniel went to. Tell us about the recruiting process with Daniel.
Well, obviously from my time at Mississippi State, I spent some time over at East Mississippi. We actually had a young man on our team from Mississippi State that we went to East Mississippi when I first got the job, Colin Borkert, who went and played for us there. And then obviously I knew Brittany at that point in time, who was a guidance counselor and was an academic advisor. And so I actually knew Daniel's high school coach from speaking at a couple clinics there in Bakersville. And so we knew a lot of things about him. Billy Begley, who was the head coach there at East Mississippi, was a former Mississippi State Bulldog player. So we knew a lot of things about the program, a lot of things about Daniel. And so Daniel was a guy that we recruited a long period of time. They were a really good program. They went to Hutchinson to the National Junior College Tournament. He was their leader in getting them there. So we was able to build a relationship, and obviously he decided to come to SEMO, and we're really fortunate that he did that. Now, I think the thing that ends up happening with every junior college player is that everybody expects them to assimilate to college basketball quicker just because they spent 2 years in junior college. And they go through the same trials and tribulations and struggles that any freshman does because things are so much different from junior college to Division I, and I think he can attest to that. So it's the first time you have the detailed scouting reports, you know, the academic advice and some of the things that we ask him to do with individual workouts, you know, all of the training that we do. So I thought that was maybe a shock to his system and something that he really had to get involved in. And either like you're going to buy into it and have success, or you're going to fight it and you're not going to have success. And I think there's always that struggle at the very beginning. And I think Daniel has done a really good job of changing what he did in the offseason. He did a great job with his body. He lost weight. His body fat decreased. And he finally started to understand what it took for him to be successful at this level, because I'm not changing. And I'm so if like unless you change, you're not going to have success here. And so because I've seen the way that we do things, whether I've been at Purdue, whether I've been at Clemson, and then what we've done here, and it's successful if you buy into it. And I give credit to Daniel because he started to buy into some of the things that we were asking him to do, and he's a much more efficient basketball player because of that.
Something else, Coach, boy, he has really become a guy that can get to the lane about any time he wants to. What he's doing a little bit more regularly lately, and maybe more so this year than last year, is finishing when he gets in there.
Yeah, and we talked about this. I mean, he was a guy that could attack the paint, but he had a poor finishing percentage once he got there. And that's something he really needed to concentrate on, because if you look at our team makeup, it's not hard to figure out. We've only got about 3 guys that are really good as far as driving the ball and getting to the paint. Obviously, Denzel Mahoney is that guy, and he's much more better at doing it when he's at the 4 spot than he is at the 3 spot. Jonathan Dalton is really good by getting into a paint, but because of his size and his stature, he has a hard time finishing when he gets to the rim. So Daniel is a guy that's on our team that's best getting to the basket and finishing at that outside of Denzel. So we need that element in our game because we have so many guys that can make a shot. But if you don't have that paint threat, which is what Daniel gives us, then we're not very good. You can't just shoot threes. You got to have a paint attack as well, too. So the ways you get the ball into the paint are a post feed, and those are so our big guys like Justin Carpenter, and then also Mark. And then we also, Denzel gets it down there some. But then the other way is driving the ball in there. And so Daniel was a guy who was one of our better threats as far as like driving the ball into the paint. And once you get that ball in the paint, it's all about decision making. You know, in most situations when you're in junior college or in high school, you get the ball into the paint, you're always able to finish. What is this thing called help defense, where people are going to come help, and it's seeing that secondary defender and what to do. And that's what people struggle with when they get to Division I level, is having the ability and seeing and kicking the ball out behind you. And so many guys are used to penetrating and kicking ball side where the penetration is. That's just not open at Division I. You got to be able to see the defense behind you, and that's where he's grew as a person and grew as a basketball player. He's starting to see that now.
You know, people hear you say, well, you just can't stand out there and shoot threes. Well, what about Belmont? What about Belmont, someone may say. Well, guess what? you know, the last couple of years prior to this year, they had the guy that led the nation in field goal percentage, Evan Brad, strictly a post player, and he was the player of the year in the OVC. People may forget about that. They shoot a lot of threes, but they always have a post threat.
Yeah, and it's not just that. If you look at anything they do with their offense, ball screen, it's all about attacking the paint first, and then they kick out. They've always got a point guard who was really good at drawing the defense once he gets the ball in the paint on ball screens. And so they put you in a bind like, are you going to help or are you not going to help, because they have so many guys who are prolific three-point shooters. And so they've always had a point guard who comes off of ball screens and puts you in a bind because they always have a four-man that can pick and pop. And then they've always had that back-to-the-basket threat as well, too. So people look at Belmont, just see how many threes they shoot. Well, they're shooting threes because they have a paint attack as well.
And also, we don't want to forget a guy that we haven't talked much about because of injury, Dondre Duffus. If he's healthy, Coach, is he as good as you've got, guy that can get into the paint?
Oh, there's no question about it. He's as far as like some of the things that we're struggling with, being a good on-ball defender and the guy that can get into the paint and put pressure on the defense, yeah, he does that. And Dondre will tell you this, too. His struggle is just the same as Daniel when he first got here, seeing that secondary defender. Dondre can go by anybody that's guarding him. It's like the decision-making once he gets past his initial defender, because he's going to get by his initial defender. It's a secondary defender, and the help defense is where you got to grow as a decision-maker, especially at that point guard position.
Didn't want anybody to forget about Dondre. What's the medical update? Now, he's been battling a blood clot or blood clots, and we didn't know if, he only got to play in 5 games last year because of an injury. Do we have an update on Dondre Duffus?
Yeah, it's still really iffy at this point in time, and he doesn't have a blood clot, but he has blood clots, and so he didn't have to go on thinners, on blood thinners, but he's still experiencing pain. And so it's like, hey, he's been cleared, but he's still in a lot of pain. So to me, it's all about his tolerance and what he can do. And the one thing I'll never do is I won't question whether a guy is hurt or not hurt. That's not for me to decide. You tell me what you can and cannot do. Now, he's attempted to come back, but he just can't get through the pain factor. And so at this point in time, he's still out until like he either starts feeling better, and we're trying to figure out what we can do from a medical standpoint in order to help him.
I wanted to ask you here before we bring Daniel on to the broadcast here, Nigel Russell. Everyone saw you added him, you signed him last week, a young man who is a native of Houston, Texas. What can you tell us about the newest Red Hawk?
Well, Nigel is, first of all, he's a great person. He's going to come in here and represent our program in the right way. Just a tremendous student and a tremendous person. The parents did a great job of raising him, so we're excited about him off the court and what type of person he is. But what he brings is he's a big-time athlete. He's a guy that can go up and finish at the rim and dunk it. He's a guy that's really explosive as far as being able to get by you, that element that we don't have right now. As
like
far as
Dondre Duffus?
Like a Dondre, but he's a bigger, stronger. He's more physical like Daniel. He's about 6'3", 6'4". He's already physically built. He's been in prep school. So he's a guy that's going to give us that element of being able to go by people and be able to finish at the rim and be strong. The other thing he's a really good defender. So he'll be a guy that can help us with our on-ball defense. You know, what you don't want to do in college basketball is always be in help mode. And a lot of times we're not very good on-ball defenders, so we're helping so much. So what we need to do is we need to get better on-ball defenders so we're not always not so help-conscious. And I think Nigel will really give us that explosive guy that can defend and rebound, and also a guy that can get into the paint and make plays. But now he's a little different than Jonathan because Jonathan can get into the paint, but he's not as big and strong. Well, Nigel will be able to get into the paint and be a threat to finish as well.
We'll ask Daniel when he gets up here, but there was close to being a confrontation in that Jacksonville State game. There was a whistle. Daniel drove the ball to the basket. This guy came over and challenged him, whacked him pretty hard, and Daniel and he had a little conversation there. Did you think, we may have a fracas?
No, we see it every day in practice. So there was nothing new there. It's probably new for the people outside of the program, but we see it every single day. Like Daniel has a unique ability, just like his shot, to like make somebody want to fight him every day in practice. So, it's nothing new for us.
Well, talk to Daniel Simmons when we come back. Let's take a time out here. The top three-point shooter in the Ohio Valley, joins us next. Daniel Simmons, Red Hawks Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN.
Everyone knows size does matter.
Local home for Mike and Mike, the Sports Huddle, and all your favorite teams. Get it all right
This makes my day go great.
on the SEMO ESPN Sports Network.
Final segment here on the Red Hawks Coaches Show from Wings, etc. We're in the Jackson location today. Programming note, the next 2 weeks we'll be back over in Cape Girardeau. So please make plans to join us. We're here on Mondays from noon until 1. And, of course, the outstanding award-winning wings on Mondays, only 69 cents at Wings, etc. Let's welcome in Red Hawks senior guard Daniel Simmons. He's a Mississippi native. Everybody talks about that jump shot of yours, Daniel. So we gotta go back to the origin. How did you come up with this unique shooting motion, which now, as a senior, and you're 3/4 of the way into your senior year, now you're the top 3-point shooter in a Division I conference, the Ohio Valley. Tell us about the entire genesis of how you came up with that way to shoot the basketball.
Junior college, I couldn't get my shot off, so I changed it, and I just kept getting reps up on the gun, and that's how I just started shooting.
Now the gun. Now for those who don't know, that's a shooter gun who is going to fire the ball back to you once you start taking shots.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what you're saying is you can't get your shot off, so it was getting blocked.
It was like my freshman year, like in practice, like because I couldn't get it out, but then like I kept working on it, so.
And so, is this something that you came up with by yourself, or did a coach say, well, maybe you want to start the ball back kind of a little further back? The whole thought process was what? Just try to keep the ball as far away from the defender as possible?
Just try not to let them block it, for real. but I just, like, get it off quicker and so they couldn't block it.
So – what do you hear mostly from your teammates about? Do they give you a hard time about the way you shoot it?
Sometimes, but I mean it goes in, so I don't worry about it.
All right, now you have been known to talk a little bit while you're out there on the floor. Not only to your teammates, you will talk to the bench, you will talk to the coaches, you'll talk to the opposing team. I think I saw you talking to the cheerleaders the other night.
Yeah, they talk about my jumper or something, like they say it's broke, but so I just get offended.
Does that fuel you, though? Are you one of those guys? Because there's some guys, once they really get the momentum going and maybe some people are giving them a hard time, rather than wilt and feel the pressure, it seems like you're one of those guys that rises up and says, well, here, let me show you how I'm going to do it.
Yes, sir. It's just –
Tell us about the play the other night. Now, you're on the sideline, right? You kind of give a little shot fake, and you drive the baseline. Now, the official blew the whistle. He said your foot was out of bounds on the sideline. So you drive the baseline, and we see guys do this after whistles. They'll go up and dunk the ball, or they'll go ahead and, put a layup up. So you're going up for the layup. All of a sudden, a Jacksonville State guy comes over and just crushes you across the arm, and this came after the whistle. Take us through what happened after that, because there was a little word exchanging there. You were talking more than he was.
I just got mad. I feel like he shouldn't have did that.
Right.
But the whistle was blown before, so I shouldn't have did it. But yeah, I just got mad because he touched me after the whistle.
And it just looked like you were talking to him. It looked like he was trying to walk away. Did he end up saying anything?
Nah, I just told him he better not do it again.
So tell us about going to the national tournament at East Mississippi Community College. We talked about with Coach Ray that's Last Chance U, a real popular show on Netflix. Were you ever involved in that? And did you ever see the cameras on campus, anything like that, or have any friends that were involved in it? Tell us if you ever had an occasion with Last Chance U and the filming on your campus.
I tried to get in the videos, but I guess they didn't put me in there. But I was with Ronald Ali. Like when they was recording him, I tried to get in there with him. So yeah, but I didn't get in on the show. So
what was it like going to the national tournament?
Oh, it was fun. It was a good experience.
And what was the most fun that you had there, and how did your team do at the national tournament?
We got beat by 20 by Texas Rangers, but it was a good experience though. Like playing in front of a lot of college coaches.
Now, Ranger College, did they end up winning the whole thing that year? They may have won it last year.
I don't think they won it.
Okay.
No, sir.
Very good program. Now, you're out of Biggersville, Mississippi. Tell us where is Biggersville? Tell us a little bit about growing up in Biggersville.
Biggersville is like 5 minutes out of Corinth, Mississippi. It's 40 minutes from Tupelo, and it's a small town, like 500 people, 1A school, just a small population. And all my family, where I live, all my family, we all stay like a mile to like close, like so yeah.
So Sunday dinners are big deals.
Big deal.
So you have to whoever's got the biggest house, that's where the dinner is.
Yeah, it's majority at my house because we have the biggest house.
There it is. So tell us about winning a state championship at Biggersville High School, because hey, there are a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of things got to go right for you to win a state championship, and apparently for you guys it did go right. What was that like?
Well, 10th grade we went to the not tournament but championship. We lost, and it was 6 of us 10th graders that got the experience, that got to play in the game, and we lost like 6 seniors, and we went back my junior year and we won it with the same like 6 we had in 10th grade, and we just wanted it more than the seniors, and we won. So
now, how many of those guys did you grow up with? I mean, how many of those guys, like you've been playing basketball since you were probably 6 or 7 years old?
Since 7th grade. Well, my cousin, it's like 4 of us, but 2 of them, they came from like a school called Ryanzi. That's elementary school. Then we combined it, but then like we just played from there 7th grade on up, and we just had everybody knew their role, like knew what to do and stuff. So like we just had that chemistry.
Not only that, but I got to think if you're going to win a state championship, and you've been playing with guys for a long time, you got to put your egos aside a little bit, play a little selfless basketball. Is that kind of what you experienced when you guys made your state championship run?
Yes, sir. I knew I was the man. I just knew that I had to come, and I had my teammates that they're behind me. So yeah, everybody just knew what to do. Like we just had to play defense and play hard.
All right. What was the team you played in the championship game, and were you the leading scorer of that game?
Yes, sir. We played Coldwater. We played them 2 years in a row. They beat us first year, then we met back up with them and beat them.
And since you're very humble and rarely talk, you probably didn't say much to Coldwater after you got the revenge, right?
Nah, I was hyped. I was excited though to get an opportunity to do it again.
Remember your stat line from the game?
I know I had 20-some, but. For real.
Were you as much a three-point shooter in high school as you are now at Division I?
I could shoot the 3. Like I pulled up more though. Like but now I kind of set shoot, like catch and shoot. But yeah, I could shoot in high school.
All right, tell us some of the things that you say to the bench when you make a shot in front of your bench. Because you're always saying something. What do you say? We had Milos on here last week, and he said, I don't understand him sometimes, so I couldn't tell you what he says.
I'd be like, let's go, because I try to bring the energy, and I just be excited because I like to shoot the ball.
All right, now let me ask you this. There are some guys, they would much rather be a starting player. Now, you're coming off the bench, but you are the energy guy. you look at some successful teams, they have guys that come off the bench. Not only one can help offensively right away, instant offense, but number two, instant energy. That's you. It seems like you've embraced that role and not have gotten into the mindset, well, I should be a starter.
I just got try to do what I'm supposed to do. I mean, I would like to start, but I mean, I play better. They say I play better off the bench, so I just maintain coming off the bench, just try to stay focused and don't even worry about that because I still get to play. So, yeah.
Now, you guys have some outstanding assistant coaches. Coach Rick Ray said that Adam Gordon is the guy that you probably work one-on-one with the most. If you've already got this unique shot mechanics, how does he tweak your mechanics when it's probably not mechanics that he's probably used to dealing with, except with you?
He just rebound for me. He just keep kicking it out, and
I
just keep shooting. Just keep getting reps up. So I just have my confidence. Just keep shooting.
Daniel Simmons, our guest, best player you ever played against, whether it's in junior college or Division I, high school. Who do you think, or maybe even AAU ball, maybe best player or two that you ever played against or played with?
I don't play with Malik Newman. I don't play against Devin Booker. I don't play against a lot of like NBA players, like Kelly Oubre, Justin Jackson, Tyus Jones.
Maybe not looking at where they are now, but at the time you played against them, who was the player that you said, man, that's the best player I've ever seen on the court?
Probably Devin Booker because he can shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen him in high school, but I also played against AAU ball. But yeah, him.
All right, now this is a big rivalry here with Murray State. I know you know about the Red Hawks and the Racers, big rivalry. We know we're going to have a big crowd, Greek night, and the student athletes from all of the sports are going to be there, all of the ones that have grade point averages of 3.0 or more. So the student section is going to be maybe the largest student section that you're going to have all season. So you have plenty of people to talk to when you're on that end of the floor.
Yes, sir.
What's that going to be like, big energy like that? And talk about for the average fan, okay, when they hear, boy, they may hear Coach Ray say, boy, we really need a big crowd because our players feed off of the crowd. Do you really feed off the crowd? How much bigger is it when the students are there and the place is loud as an athlete?
It's amazing because it's just the atmosphere and, like, just getting to play D1 ball, and you have a lot of fans there, rooting you on to win. So, yeah, we need them there.
All right, Murray State. Now, do you guys go in with a mindset, okay, they got us at their place, payback time? Is that the mindset going in against Murray State? You got to get them?
Yes, sir. We should. If we just play hard and come out on them, we should win. All
right. Now, Jonathan Stark is the #1 scorer in the OVC. He had 36 points against you the first time. Talk about Jonathan Stark and how good that guy is. And I don't know if you're going to be guarding him on Thursday night or not.
He's a good player. Like, he just do some good stuff. So,
what's it like playing with Denzel Mahoney? Have you ever played with a guy that can not only shoot the three as well as he can, but just has this amazing knack to get to the free throw line?
So it's amazing for real. Like, it's not that many players that's like him. They can do both. He shoots a good percentage too. So yeah, it's amazing. It's a good thing to play with him.
All right, now I was going to ask Coach Ray if we just had clothing receipts for all the players. Do you think you spend the most money on clothes as far as everybody on the team? You got a pretty good wardrobe is what I'm saying.
I think so.
Yeah. Yep. So who dresses the best of anybody on the team?
Me.
Okay. All right. Didn't think it'd take long to get that answer. Now, you strike me as a guy, you're probably on social media. Are you on Instagram or Twitter? Can we get you some followers here? What's your handle?
What's my IG?
Yeah.
Daniel_Cabana.
Cabana.
Cabana.
Daniel_Cabana.
Cabana, like CABANIEL.
Okay, Cabana. All right, Daniel_Cabana. See if we can get you a couple of followers. Can't wait for the big, exciting game against Murray State on Thursday. We'll see you at the Show Me Center, Daniel. Good to see you. All right, that's Daniel Simmons. That is going to wrap it up here for the Coaches Show. Good work, Daniel. And don't forget, it's going to be a 7:30 tip-off for the men. The women will go at 5:15. The Red Hawk women have already picked up a road win at Murray State, so they'll be going for the season sweep against the Racers. Thanks again to Daniel Simmons. Thanks to our engineer, Dean Field, Mike Rennick as well here. Don't forget, Super Bowl 52 on Sunday. You can watch it at Wings in high definition. We'll talk to you from the Show Me Center for Red Hawk basketball Thursday night. So long, everybody.